What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Kung Fu Talk, your favorite martial arts podcast. And I'm here straight from San Francisco, California. Straight from what I call the White Lotus studio, right? That's where I record my podcast. Before starting and giving an introduction of our guest, or today's guest, I want to ask you to please share, subscribe, like, comment, share your thoughts. Tell us what you think about the podcast. Who would you like us to interview and to have here in our podcast? Right, we have many different peoples, many different styles, martial artists from all over the world, and today we have a special guest where we're going to be talking about him in a second. I'd like to also let you know that this podcast will be on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure that if you are on Spotify, check it out. His links on YouTube. So you're gonna have the links of our guest. He's international. He teaches all over the world. Been traveling to China. He have a lot of knowledge about what he's teaching and been doing. Right. If you need translation for the podcast in Portuguese as well, there is a CC button on the bottom. There's many cool interviews as well in our channel, Portuguese channel. Right. This is episode. It is sponsored by Film Design Hub, which is a martial arts printing design. They do everything over t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, mouse pad related, everything to martial arts design, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Shuai Jiao, Krav Maga, MMA. There's so many styles out there. You're going to find the links on the in the description of this video for Amazon. They're also on Redbubble, TeePublic, and Etsy. Make sure that you check it out. There's so many designs today. I don't have a t-shirt, but next episode we're definitely gonna record with some designs that I got here. Very, very good material. It's worth it for you to check it out. So you can go around, travel, maybe go, meet your friends, practice, and use the t-shirts representing your style. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun. I really like those. I honestly prefer this kind of thing than regular brands, Hollister, and kind of very fancy stuff. I'm not talking shit about them. It's pretty, but it's just my style, right? I love to show off what I do. So today I have a special guest here, Tai Chi master. I've been practicing this for over a decade. Been doing and teaching for so many years, which is Sifu Davi Garritano. How are you doing today, Sifu?
Hello, Sifu Ronald. Very good. Thank you so much for inviting me here to your podcast to share my impressions, my experience in Tai Chi. And let's go.
I'm very glad that you were able to make it. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for taking the time to record with us and been visiting your site, your website, your social media page. I love your content. I love what you do. I love how you express the art of Tai Chi, because not many people get into deep explanation about minimum details. I've seen people that they stitch forms and that's it, just go over Qigongs and that's it. But I love how you express yourself and how you get into details about every minimum movement that we see into Tai Chi. And this is something that we don't see much out there. Specialists. There's a lot of people, they are masters in movement, but they are not masters of the art. And I love how you express yourself and how you're master and how you're special, how you have a specialty on the Tai Chi. But let's go. So I want to start first. What first inspired you to start practicing martial arts, especially to get involved into the Tai Chi? Before I forget, so he's from Rio de Janeiro. I believe is the most beautiful city state in Brazil, the most well-known. Everybody would ask me, "Oh, so where are you from?" I'm from Brazil. Okay, yeah. So how's it Rio? It's like, no, I'm not from Rio. So I did have the pleasure and the honor to visit there from São Paulo. Lived in São Paulo I'm from Miami, but lived in São Paulo for so many years. But anyways, let's go back. What matters the most? So what was your first? What first inspired you to practice martial arts, in special get involved into Tai Chi?
Okay, so I believe since childhood I was always fond of martial arts because of the the anime and also the Eastern culture of kung fu movies, Bruce Lee, for example, Jet Li, Jack Chan, all of this, the background of the hero, the warrior, to fight for justice, how to improve yourself, and also a lot of virtues that we get from these anime, manga, kung fu movies. So I think since childhood, I've always practiced some styles of martial arts. Here in Brazil, for instance, I've practiced capoeira, also taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, a little bit of everything. I think I was always interested in martial art, but only in my around my 15 years old, I found Tai Chi by chance, and then I really saw the philosophy and practice connection. So I think this was the thing that made me fall in love with Tai Chi, and since then I've been practicing so far.
And can you share a little bit about the details of your lineage, teachers, and who from your instructors actually presented you into the Tai Chi world? I know that you got, what's it called? You got involved with mangas, anime, and the Asian culture. A lot of people they start on that journey, but exactly if there was anybody who influenced you and showed, oh, this is Tai Chi, and then you're like, oh my god, like I gotta go to this.
Yeah, actually, it was a funny story. As I said, I met Tai Chi by chance. There was this guy where I live in my neighborhood, and he was like an adult while we were like kids, teenagers, and he was always a nice guy, talking to everyone, getting along with the teenagers, always smiling, always talking to everyone. So suddenly he invited us, me and my friends. Oh, do you know Tai Chi? Let's do some lessons. You have to know Tai Chi. And then he showed some kung fu moves. So we were all like kids, so we got really interested. And during the months we were practicing, like 2 weeks, 2 months, we started I mean, by myself, I can say I started to feel differently. Back then, I was in high school, so even my parents noticed the grades were getting better. I seemed more focused, more centered. So this was how I met Tai Chi. It was by chance, and gradually from this guy who is called Lino. He's one of my friends. We are friends till nowadays. And then he after a while he took me to his master, who happens to be one center director here in Rio. His name is Marcio Lacerda, and he is one of the center directors of the Young Family International Tai Chi Chuan Association, who is led by one of the traditional descendants of Yang Luchan, the founder of Young Family Tai Chi, and this master is called Yan Jun, who is my also my shifu, and he we along with his grandfather they founded the International Young Family Tai Chi Chuan Association, and gradually from Lino to Marshall and then to Master Yanjun, I gradually walk up the stairs of the lineage, and nowadays I'm also one of the representations here of the Young Family branch here in Rio.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Very impressive how, from the beginning, you found yourself watching animes and mangas, reading mangas, and then from now, you are such a professional who's been teaching this art for many years. As you said, like you're walking your way up to being one of the descendants and earning the heritage of this style, and now being promoted with such excellence and beauty, because it's a beautiful art. We see, we see the movements. A lot of people, and we're gonna get into this about the fudging later, but that's something that's beautiful that I honestly never saw many people, you know, uh, expressing the fudging into the young. A lot of people, especially myself, what got me attracted to the Shen style was not just, the rolling the silk and doing all the fudging stuff, but it was mainly the fudging. I was like, it's the explosive movement, but that's beautiful. What were the key principles, or what do you think is the key principles or teachings in the learning of the yang style? Like many different styles, they talk about structures, like for example, Wing Chun work a lot about center line, the Douyin. I believe every style work the same thing, but have different philosophies. They work a lot about the Wu Wei, which is the economy of motion, which I also believe, maybe you can correct me if I am wrong, that Yang style also work this. In your opinion, what would be the key principles of the teachings in Yang style?
Well, it's hard to track exactly in few words what are the main principles, but in my opinion, I think the one of the main characteristics of Yang style is the simplicity, and this is also one of the things that reflects the Taoist philosophy, because it is a way of uh, centering yourself, getting to know yourself, living a simple life by not resisting, not fighting against life. So I think the simplicity is one of the main characteristics of the young family Tai Chi training method, which I find one of the most important. As I was saying before, I gradually walked up the stairs to until I meet Master Yan Jun, and I remember right now the first time I saw him in my first seminar with him, because I knew the movements, I knew the hand form, I knew the principles. But when I saw him performing, I remember quite clearly in the back of my mind, he was doing a sword movement, and it was like really sharp and precise, and the tip of the sword like shaking. So I watched him doing that live in front of me, and I said, "Oh, this guy is a kung fu master. I want to do this for the rest of my life." I remember quite clearly. This was my first impression when I decided I would like to do it for the rest of my life.
As a martial artist, I want to point this, with much respect, with due to much respect. We see things, and I'm the kind of person that I love to analyze things. And just by you performing that movement, you can see the Faji being performed in just a simple explanation. And again, this is not everybody who does that shit. It's just like I'm saying, like this is something that without the respect, and I have a lot of respect to you, like you're a very special person, like very special instructor. Again, because like I love to interview people who actually does the right thing, who live their life and dedicate their life for the kung fu life, for the tai chi life, to promote real martial arts. Unfortunately, have so many fake things out there, but I get impressed and I get amazed when I see people. That's when I saw your hands going like, there's a real deal there. My Sifu, he always used to say, like, you can tell me that you have 40 years of Wing Chun, but the hands do the talking. At the end of the day, like, the hands are going to show you things. And, if your movement are sloppy, you can see how many years of Kung Fu or Tai Chi or whatever style this person has. And again, I just want to point this because it was really fun. But it's nice to see that when you're talking about the not resistant, a lot of people think that the principles of the yin yang is one energy against each other. And I remember my Sifu Harinder Singh from Jeet Kune Do. He's also a Tai Chi Shin master. You were saying the yin yang, it's actually one energy helping each other. You don't fight against your enemy. You help him to fighting against himself. So a lot of people have that principle, the aspiral principle, that thinking that, okay, so you're gonna give me force, I'm gonna give you more force, so I'm gonna give you more energy. And it's the opposite. When you give me force, that's why we practice the tuiso. The tuiso is very important when you're doing the movements. You actually absorbing and shooting back, but you're shooting back in a expression, in a way, in a very special way, not just simply just giving more force. You're completing the energy in a position that you put in enough force, and that's how I feel that, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that's how I feel that you are able to break down your opponent and actually use him against him. And then we come back to the Tao cosmology with the Wu Wei, the economy of motion, which relate the Kung Fu with the Tao philosophy. It's a beautiful martial arts system.
Yeah, Chinese martial art, I would say maybe all martial art style, but from my point of view, Chinese martial art, once you practice, you can develop yourself in many different directions. One of them is the way you deal with life. So the philosophical background, the philosophical approach is very important for us to know how to deal with different situations, how to manage our relationships, the things we want to promote in life, how we want to do things. So the philosophical approach is very important. And it's not only about the theory. The martial art practice makes you embody the philosophy. So you have to go under a serious training routine so you can really grasp what it is said in the philosophy. And with Tai Chi Chuan, this is the real deal, because it's not only about the to perform like soft motions, but it's neither about being good at fighting. Oh, I think, in my opinion, it is about finding your balance, knowing yourself, and develop tools, develop ways on how to live a good life, how to behave well with your family, with your friends, with your lover. So I think the philosophical part of the martial art is the core. And as you were saying about the yin and yang relationships, and this is one of the characteristics I also find very interesting about Tai Chi. There are three types of yin yang relationships. One of them is the codependence. So both exist together, big and small, hot and cold, light and dark. You cannot separate them. I mean, you can separate them, but only when you are explaining. Because once you talk about one of them implicitly, you are talking about the other. So this is one of the yin yang relationship, hard and soft, yin and yang. They are codependent. Another point of the theory, the philosophy, is that they go against each other, as you were saying. So one helps to restrict, to temper, to control the other. So as the heat controls the cold, as the brightness controls the darkness, so they also play against each other. And there is another, the third relationship, which is very important to understand, is the transmutation, which is one transforms into the other when it reaches to its peak. So we see it every day. Once you fall asleep and then you wake up, the sun rises, the sun sets. If you throw a rock on the air, it will go up and then it will go down. So if you know how to play with these three types of yin and yang relationship, and then you embody it in yourself, and then you try it with your partner, as you were saying in push hands, the two show practice, then you start to develop different ways of dealing with opponent's power, opponent's force. So it's not only that silly thing everyone says about I use no force against you, and then I will control you. It's not about that. This is only, I mean, the theory in movies. Because once we deal with someone else pushing you, attacking you, you have to use force. You have to explode as well. You have to be able to be soft, to be flexible, to be yielding, but you have also to attack. You have also to explode. You have also to be strong and tight sometimes. So it's all about playing with hard and soft, yielding and attacking, being flexible and being like not stiff in a bad way, but to hold your position. So
Mhm.
it's all about this dynamic yin yang interplay. So every time we talk about dealing with an opponent, you have to be able to adapt, to move, to be dynamic, to shift, to alternate between being flexible and attacking, yielding, and controlling your opponent. So it's a really deep and serious training. It's not only like a mystical thing. And once you embody it, you are also able to correlate everything you feel in your body with many situations in your daily life. So this is why I think the philosophical approach is also very important.
When we talk about balance, just to give a little conclusion, I love how the regardless of the style, like you're talking about, we were talking about the young my Sifu Harinder. He also practiced the Shen style. He on his Jeet Kune Do classes, he always implement philosophical things from the traditional martial arts. Right? We talk about. I've always seen he talking about. You can see on his videos on YouTube and also on his podcasts as well for the Black Belt magazine. He's saying about finding your center, always finding your balance. In every martial arts, you have to practice this, right? When we talk about Shuai Jiao, for example, the takedown art. So, in order for you to, I heard this thing from a Shuai Jiao grandmaster. Like Sanda, you have to, if you dominate the distance, you break down your opponent. Shuai Jiao, if you control his center of gravity, which would be his center line, which will be his center, his center, you would be able to take him down because you have to take his balance, and balance is not only the key of standing but it's the key of life, and everything have to be balanced. If you're going to put salt in your food, you got to, you have to balance yourself. You're going to put too much sugar on your coffee or your tea or whatever the way that you like to drink. By the way, I hate putting sugar in my tea. I love to taste. I remember there's a funny story. I was with my fiance the other day at the tea store. So they have in Chinatown a tea place that we try teas, right? And it was funny because she's like, "Oh, we're drinking this. You're not putting sugar or honey." I was like, "Dude, you gotta you gotta mess up with the taste. The most important thing is for you to taste the herb. Like, how come you're gonna put
Sure,
sugar
sure.
and what's it called and honey in your tea?" But anyways, and the guy was just like looking at her like, "Why are you looking for sugar?" But anyways, this is a Western kind of thing. But going back to the thing, the balance thing is very important because again, like everything has to be balanced, starting from your personal life, starting from traditional for the way that you practice martial arts, and how you're gonna go and adapt the movements into a real application. The balance is right there. It's a thing that you also see on the yin yang, the balance of energy. So you don't see one part bigger than the other. You don't see yin bigger than yang. They have the perfect balance, and that's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, the balance subject is very, very deep once you understand the Taoist philosophy and once you go into the martial arts study, because it's a dynamic balance. It's even stated in the main branches of Chinese philosophy. For instance, Taoism, but you also find it in Buddhism, Confucianism, which is you have to know how to find your balance in your life. And it's not about a static balance. This is one of the main subjects of the I Ching, for instance, the book of changes, because everything is always changing. And this is how the Taoism works. Everything is always changing, and going along with the changes, how can you find your own balance? And then you were talking about this tea story. Each one of us has our own balance point. So some of us like to put sugar in the tea, and it's okay. It's your balance point. Some don't like the sugar. Some prefer a little bit more salt. Some don't. So it's okay. The thing is how you can find your balance. And one thing my shifu always say is that the approach of Chinese martial art is that we start from the balance. So the first thing we should learn Tai Chi, for instance, is how to balance, how to make your center stable. That's why we practice standing postures. That's why we have those kind of stances like the bow stance, and we always look for one kind of technique, one certain type of skill, which is the rooting. So everything in Tai Chi Chuan starts from centering yourself, from rooting yourself, from knowing yourself. And for sure, I can extend this subject also to the energy training. And this is one of the most delicate subjects in Tai Chi Chuan because it is all about, in Tai Chi Chuan, hard and soft, yin and yang. So it's not only soft. Many people think Tai Chi is only soft, slow pace movements, and then you will be calm. But this is only one part of it. You also need to balance the soft with some hardness. So this is the energy training Tai Chi Chuan. You need to practice slow, soft, but we have a goal when we practice like this. It's to unhinder the energy flow. Is to make yourself soft, more flexible, able to move. But once you have these skills, you need to shift to the hardness. Otherwise, how can it be a complete martial art if you cannot issue any? So the main thing about Tai Chi Chuan is how to find your own balance. And for sure, we have many tools, many exercises available in our training system. And we start from the soft, we start from the balance. But later on, you also have to try different things and update your balance perspective.
That's beautiful. Now, riding along to the, let's talk a little bit about the Fajin. We see that the Chen style is often seen as the original form of Tai Chi, who actually originated the whole, principles from Chen Wenqing. And then we have different families who developed their system, Yang, Wu, Hao, San, and so with explosive fudging, how does it differ the fundamentality from more flowing in the Yang style? Do you think the fudging from the Shen style is the same or they are different from the Yang?
Yeah, I think they're both. There are some aspects of the Fajing in Chen style that differ from Yang style. For instance, they talk a lot about coiling energy, talk about like to make your dantian like spinning, with this coiling energy, and you have a lot of spirals in Chen style. And since the Yang family, third generation from Master Yan Chen Fu, he was the one who created the well-known Yang family Tai Chi long form. Some call it 108, some
Mhm.
call it 103. It's the traditional Yang family long form. It was created by Master Yan Chen Fu from the third generation, and he was the one who standardized Yang family Tai Chi as we know today. So he was the one that removed the Fa Jing from the hand form.
Oh wow.
Before him, Yang Chan, the creator, the founder, the first generation, and also the second generation, they had different ways of performing hand form. They had things called like the small frame, the medium frame. So they also performed explosion fighting in the hand form. And it was Master Yan Fu, third generation of Yang family, that separated because he found out that the Fajin inside the hand form uh, disturbed the calm, the even pace. So he was the one that made the movements large, even
Mm.
pace motion, and keeping your height level during all the performance. And then all of the explosive motions, the Fajin training, you will find it outside of the hand form. So apart from that, also answering your question, I think that one of the main differences of Chen style Fajin and Yang style Fajin is that the while in Chen style they perform this coiling energy and swirling around the energy, the Yang style goes from one simple perspective. So you center yourself, and from this centered self, you issue energy.
Wow.
So the way of performing it comes from simplicity. So big circles, simple movements, and from this simplicity, straight lines like tangents. You can draw many different lines from this simple circle. So I think in terms of efficiency, both are the same, but the training method is different. In Yang style, we always issue energy from simple and large movements.
That's interesting. Do you think modern Tai Chi practitioners should both practice Shin and Yang style, or should they specialize in one? I ask this because I've seen a lot of debate. People say, "Oh yeah, if you practice Shin and then you're gonna do Yang, you're gonna mix with your Yang or Shin style, or vice versa." So, how do you think? What would be your opinion? I've seen people like, for example, my Sifu. He teaches the Yang and the Shen style, and he recently no, it's been recently, like maybe 2019, 20. So he started practicing and teaching the Wu style, the Hao style. Sorry, was the Hao style family. What is your opinion on that?
Well, if you want to practice more than one style seriously, you have to dedicate a lot of time and energy. This is the key point of Kung Fu practice. You
Mhm.
have to really dedicate, apply yourself into it. So it's not easy to develop one style. So if you want
Mhm.
to develop two, you have to apply double the energy, double the intention, double the heart. So I think any style of martial art in our discussion, we are talking about Tai Chi. It should suit also your personality, what you are looking for. So this is also related to what we were discussing previously about our balance point. So each one of us, we are different. So each one of us have different not only
Perspective.
goals but preferences. Each one of us has its own preferences. So depending on the training method, on that style, I think you should look for what suits you the most. And for sure, if you practice two different styles, two different training methods, and if you are not careful about it, you might mix things up because they are different things, even though they come from the same roots, the same core, which is Tai Chi theory, Taoist philosophy. All the energy training is quite similar, but once you start to mixing things up, you might end up doing one thing you shouldn't be doing. So my advice, if this is any one of the watchers here, anyone who is listening, if you want to practice both style, you should be careful to separate first, analyze things, and once you have some experience, then you start to linking things together and then combining. But just take care to not mix things up.
That's interesting. What are the biggest mistake normally you find that people makes when learning Tai Chi, and how do you think you address them?
Yeah, nowadays we have a lot of access to information, and many times when you go to try something new, you have already made some research on it, and many times when someone comes to learn Tai Chi, I commonly say that good old classic, which is you should empty your cup so you can try a new type of tea. So
Mhm.
if you come to learn something new, first of all, get rid of everything you know about it so you can taste that new type of tea. And this is one of the things that might be a problem with the beginners in Tai Chi because they arrive thinking they know what they will find. Okay, so I will arrive here, I will learn some calming movements, and then I will be dealing with my stress, and then my knee will get better, and it will all happen magically. And it's not about it. It's all about applying yourself, rediscovering yourself, and to be able to do it, you have to empty your cup, and then you will be able to learn something new.
But I find it very interesting because this was exactly my perspective. So when I first started into Tai Chi, I was already a black belt in Kung Fu, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy. It's slow." So and I remember first class, my Sifu, he's just like, "I'm gonna teach you how to walk." I was like, "What the heck? Like I'm what 20 something, 26? I already know how to walk." I didn't say anything. I was just like thinking to my mind, but I respectively accepted it. So first class was just walking, no hands, and then we started with the 24. Then he did, second class, he implemented the hands. And then I was like, oh man, like this is stuff because there's a lot of details going on. You have to pivot your foot, you have to walk properly, you have to keep your balance, not just bouncing up and down in the movements, and then start flowing, and then doing a form of 4 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes at the same level. It's like, and your legs are burning. It's like, oh my goodness, it's not just simple as I thought. And it's impressive because people sometimes, not that they diminish, but they don't realize how, as you said, we have to empty your cup. And then I remember so many times I was doing the form in my sifu, you have too much kung fu in your tai chi. You have to, release some energy. You're too tense. You're doing your movements too like stiff, using too much of what we call leak in Cantonese, which is the excessive energy in the movements. And little by little, you start. It's like a filter. You start like pouring water, and then the water little by little, it's getting all the dirts, all the things that are necessary, throwing away, and now we have a clear water. And then that was my perception at the beginning, and I still have a lot of things that I still have to master. And as I mentioned the other day, like I was visiting my sifu now in December, and they were like, okay, let's see the 24. And I was like, oh yeah, so the 24 we practiced this over the first form. Oh, didn't you know that this fit you all shoe? Like, yeah, I gotta correct this foot, and then I gotta correct his hand, and there's always new things, as he called, to polish, to make it to perfect. It doesn't, regardless how many years you have, you're always gonna have something new to make it better, to improve on your martial arts. Never diminish any styles, regardless if you're a master of so many years. And that's a really good thing to think about it.
Yeah, yeah. To practice kung fu seriously with your heart, you you have to be able to really open up yourself to it, because it's not an easy thing. It's not something you will achieve in 1 year, 2 years. I mean, you have to really go down the road. And once you open up yourself to that style, it starts to reprogram yourself. As we were talking another time, I have also this psychology degree, and I have always, since my teenage period, I have always this interest on the human soul, the human mind, the virtues, how the mind works. And once I started to develop in Tai Chi, I really found out many parallels in my psychology studies and practice with the Tai Chi experience, because our body is a direct reflection of our mind. So, sorry. So everything we think we know, or everything we know, it will somehow be expressed in our body. So that's it. That is one of the good things about the emptying your cup classic. Because if you think, for instance, if you practice some other style, it will be like in your body, like in your flesh, and you cannot get rid of it because it's really deep inside yourself. So once you shift to another style, you will bring everything with you, because it's not about the style. The style is just something virtual, some information. It's just like that the first Tao Te Ching chapter. The real Tao is not the one that can be named. So the kung fu style, whatever it is, it's not about yours. I mean, the master, the lineage. It's about how you absorb that information and how you use it to yourself. And once you use it, it's already different, because it's like ethereal. It's subtle. So all of these things are in your mind and body, and gradually, once you practice, you go to a completely transformation. So everything that it is in yourself that needs to be balanced, polished, it will gradually transform yourself through the training process. So your character, your emotions, the way you behave, everything will be put into test, and it will be reshaped, transformed, until you find your center, your balance point. So this is one of the most interesting things I find in Chinese martial arts practice. It's that because your body and the way you behave is a completely way to express your mind, yourself, your character. So through the physical practice, you can really correct your character. You can reshape yourself. So this is one of the really interesting things I found out about martial arts.
Yeah, when we're talking about the reshaping, it's interesting because it's a way to always develop new skills and always evolve, not only as a martial artist, as a practitioner, but as a person as well. I've seen many people who start, regardless of the style, with bad habits. Especially kids. Sometimes they come to class and they think they can do whatever they want. The first thing they learn normally is discipline. As I said, like I thought I knew how to walk until I start practicing Tai Chi, and then Tai Chi teaches you the basic foundations. That's why a lot of people they discourage. Oh no, Tai Chi is just for elderly or for old people. It's not. It's for everyone. And I remember my Sifu. He when he started the Tai Chi, I think he was a teenager, 14 years old. He was already practicing Shaolin Lohang, and then he Sifu, my Qigong, I challenged him, told him, like, now you're going to practice Tai Chi. Like, this is boring. This is slow. I don't want to do this. And then he started doing it. And then till nowadays, like, I'm so glad that my Sifu made me to practice this, because this has become not just a tool for enhance myself, but I also can help other people to develop new skills and to have a better life. And then I've seen elderly people's, my kung fu sister, my tai chi sisters practicing, and it's interesting, like how a 70 years old can memorize all those forms in the weapons and the Dao and the Jan. I was like, and then sometimes I forget movements, and they were like, oh no, this hand is over here. Like, oh, that's true. Like, oh my goodness, it's something that it's hard to explain how the beauty of the essence of a martial arts that can help yourself in many different ways.
Yeah, surely. And I think one of the things I can relate of this you just said is that when you start to develop yourself practicing whatever martial arts style you practice, you start to pay more and more attention to the details, to the subtleties within the arts. So once you mature yourself, you really change your attention to the subtle parts of the practice and not only the style, I mean, yourself included. So once you start to getting really good at something, for instance, really good medic, lawyer, engineer, or whatever, you start to specialize yourself in the details. And then you start to develop like different ways of doing, of relating to the same thing. So Tai Chi as a training system, we start from that perspective. We start from soft, from delicate. How you can feel your energy, how you can connect with your mind, with your emotions. So this is one of the things that really attracted me in Tai Chi is that subtlety, to pay attention to the slightest tension on your body, to how your thoughts cross your attention. And as you were saying, learning how to walk, like something really, really simple, really basic. But once you start to pay more attention to it, you know that you didn't know how to do it. And then you can always improve it. So one of the things that really I really find really interesting in Tai Chi is how it plays with your attention, with your mind, with your spirit. So you really go into the subtlety of the arts through the philosophical teachings. And if you want to do Tai Chi for fighting skills only, you have to develop, first of all, patience. First, you have to know yourself. First, you have to develop a relationship with yourself. So I think from this perspective, Tai Chi is a very high level martial art because it takes time. Not only to learn how to fight, anyone who can punch and dodge a few attacks can fight. But life is not about fighting only. It's also about how to deal with things, how to deal with people, how to deal with difficulties, hard times, things that have no answer. So how will you do it? How will you deal with all of these things only by fighting? So you really have to step back, take a broader view of things, and orient yourself. So I think Tai Chi is a really good training system because of this subtle approach.
That's amazing. Talking now about simple things. What is the rule of breath control and how chi development in Tai Chi, and how does it enhance movements and power? We normally see that the first things we practice in traditional Chinese martial arts are how to breathe properly, any Chinese style kung fu or any style. So I find that one of the main concepts of Tai Chi is the breathing perspective and how to incorporate and control your breathing with the movements. So many times I was practicing Kung Fu forms, half of the forms I was already exhausted. And then my Sifu, oh, you got to control yourself. You got to control, like, you have to understand how to breathe. So, in your perspective, how the breath control is important and how to develop in the Tai Chi system?
Yeah, so it's quoted in many, many parts of the Tai Chi classics. The relationship with your Qi, with your mind, with your Dantian, with your energy, generally speaking. So, Tai Chi Chuan as a health wellness practice or as a martial art, it is deeply connected with Chinese medicine. So the first thing you need to learn when you practice Tai Chi is how to access, how to feel your Qi, your vital energy. And you do it through physical practice, through the
Mhm.
physical training. So that's why we also practice slow motion forms because the slow pace is very good to calm yourself. And you can only connect, access, and nurture your internal energy once you connect, once you feel your internal energy. So the first part of Tai Chi Chuan, both as wellness and martial art development, first of all, is about the relaxation, the energy training method, so you can make your energy flow. Once you have your energy flowing, and you also do it through some breathing methods, for instance, the abdominal breathing, which is the prenatal breathing, this technique very very known in many Taoist exercises, like breathing as a child, breathing
Mhm.
naturally. So this is the first thing we learn in Tai Chi, how to breathe, how to relax, how to make our internal energy flow. And once you find it, this is the first step to find your balance, to calm yourself, to nurture yourself. And once you have it, once you have energy, okay, then you learn how to use it. So the first part is to nurture yourself, to feel yourself, to know yourself. And that's why many, many people look for Tai Chi Chuan as a health development tool, and that's why the elderly practice Tai Chi, because the elderly need to cultivate the energy. Many, many elderly are like with some hurting problems, some dysfunction in their health system, some organ is not functioning well. So they need to restore their energy and they look for Tai Chi. So imagine if you are young and you start Tai Chi in your early ages, you have much more energy to work on. So the breathing methods, the relaxation, the energy training, both slow pace motion and also the fast, explosive. It's all about energy training. And even though you can use it for combat or not, it's very good for your body. It's very good for your health. So the breathing, answering your question, the breathing methods, the energy awareness, they are methods for you to improve your energy circulation. First, you need to storage energy and then refine it. And once you refine it, as I was saying before, you really change yourself, your character, your emotions, your perspective on life, relationships, and everything else. It's always connected to your energy. So the first thing in Tai Chi, but not the last, the first is to relax and to access your energy. And then you need to develop it.
That's amazing. So when we talk about breathing, my Sifu has a very well-known saying, which is, if you know the art of breathing, you have the power, the strength, and the wisdom of 10 tigers. So which means that I always believe that the breath and the breathing process is the process of enhancing and absorbing the chi through yourself, and then the chi is gonna be exploded as a movement. So you're gonna have the chi being performed as a fajin or as a gangokjin, regardless of your system and art, how you call those energy process or explosions for adaptations in combat, as not only maybe in combat but also, as you said, to enhance yourself for illness, or for to have a better life, or to heal yourself from from those things. It's
Sure.
impressive how we have something very important in Earth that maybe other planets does not have it, which is it's the air, and we cannot live without it. And through the air, we adapt to things, and then we absorb energy, and we transform this fuel as an energy restoration for living.
Yeah, all of this energetic perspective the Chinese medicine deal with about the vital energy flowing through everything, including ourselves. It's very much connected to all of our daily activities. Everything we do in our daily lives, we are using energy. We are thinking, we are using energy. The way we think uh, consumes our energy. The way we move, the way we deal with our daily emotions. For instance, if you feel stressed by something that happened to you, this is an energy process going on inside yourself. So once you know how to breathe, you know how to feel your energy, you know how to regulate yourself, you become much more aware of everything else you are dealing with in your daily life. The way you are speaking to people, the way you are dealing with difficult situations, the way you are eating, the way you are sleeping. So the general management of your energy totally changes once you start to pay more and more attention to the way you breathe and the way how your internal energy flows.
That's amazing. How do you see the future of Tai Chi? Do you think Tai Chi will continue evolving more as a combat art, or a healthy practice, or maybe both? We see that through the years, this arts being surviving through centuries by dynasties, being used in the past not only for a health uh, perspective to enhance yourself, but also as a military practice. We saw when Akshen Wanqing came from the battle. I forgot which dynasty was. I think it was Tang Dynasty. So he developed. No, he got with himself the essence of the fist. He should also have the book, which he then developed with his military training, the Shen style. And there you became the history of different families, systems, and arts. And now we have more as internet. Normally, 90% of the people they just practice because of the health perspective. Not much. Still, there's people they want to learn how to fight use a Tai Chi system. So, how do you think it's going to be the future of Tai Chi?
Yeah, I think Tai Chi throughout the history line has always been evolving, changing. If we trace back to Yang Luchan, who was the founder of a Young
Mm-hmm.
Family Tai Chi, once he got into the capital in the with the imperial family, he had to deal with many different martial artists. So he had to fight. And that in the past, martial arts, we can trace back, for instance, to the samurais in Japan or to many different times in China, Thailand, or whatever. In the past, they really needed to fight. They really needed to sometimes know how to kill the other. So as the state, the laws, the times were changing, the use of martial arts also changed. So there are many treaties in many parts of the world. In Japan, we find many ones. In China also. How we can use the martial arts for spiritual cultivation. How we can use martial art to develop a stronger body to deal with life. So one of the things the masters, the Tai Chi masters from the past noticed, and it's even written in some books, is that during the last Chinese dynasty, Qing dynasty, which was a
Mhm.
Mongolian dynasty, the Chinese people were with the spirits very low because they were dominated by a foreign dynasty, foreign government.
Mhm.
So one of the things Yang Chan noticed in his time is that Tai Chi helped lift up the spirits of the population. So since that time, from Yang Chan to his sons and grandsons, Tai Chi gradually started to change because people who came to the Tai Chi masters to practice, they some of them wanted to learn how to fight, but some of them just wanted to learn how to get stronger, how to cure some diseases, how to lift up their spirits. So I think from this gradual and long evolution that all the martial arts go through, I think the future of Tai Chi Chuan is more pointing to the health benefits, not only physical, but also psychological, spiritual. So I think nowadays, when we have laws that you cannot fight anyone in the street and kill anyone you want, and we also have to deal with guns. So sometimes people have fire weapons, and some tragedy can happen. So I think nowadays the way the world is organized, I think the benefit of martial art is on our health side. For sure, it is good for you to learn how to defend yourself and maybe deal with some aggressor, but the most important thing I think is how to orient yourself in life and in difficult situations. So I think Tai Chi, as it has been developing through the decades and centuries, I think Tai Chi is going more into this spiritual wellness and health development direction.
Something that is very important that I would like to point. You talk about the spirit and have a strong spirit, and normally people, we live in a society. I think I heard something about the disease of the 20th century would be the depression, right? And I've seen a lot of studies that prove how not only depression is spiritual, I mean, not only a psychological issue, but also Harvard University made a very interesting study about how people sometimes going through cancers, tumors, treatment, and then they use the Tai Chi as a rehabilitation way of people to strengthen themselves and go through the process along with the treatment, right? Sometimes people don't have to do a radiotherapy or whatever therapy they have to go through, and they go and they practice, and they see that for some reason it helps them to heal themselves. And when you have normally I read this on what's his name, Grandmaster Wong King Cute, this book, I forgot, is it Shaolin about something. He was talking about the three principles of every style. Every traditional style has it, which is in Cantonese is the Hei, the Ging, and the Sun, or in Mandarin the Shi, the Ging, and the Shen, the spirit. And the spirit also, you see practitioners, they have the resilience, they always have the strength to overcome different situations. And the majority of the people, of course, we also have the religion over there also helping people go through different things. But it's interesting how a martial arts system can work along many different um, difficulties in life and strengthen your body, not only physically but spiritually, bringing you enlightenment. I remember when I heard the word enlightenment and inner peace was watching Kung Fu Panda, and it seems to be a very silly movie, but the philosophical message, it's so beautiful. Talking about the what's his name, the turtle, I forgot his name, my mind was blanking.
Uwe.
Uwe, yes. So Uwe, all his stitchings, the Shifu, you see that the Shifu is sometimes very agitated, but through the movie he's become more peaceful, and you see that he becomes more like Uwe. And the panda seems to be very silly kind of character, and become like very powerful through his resilience and stuff, because he have the dragon warrior inside of himself. And all of these things, that's what we live in martial arts. We see it as a silly way of attracting people, kids especially, watching the in the theaters. But when you have a really martial artist who's be that every time when I watch those movies, I was like, oh my goodness, that's what we practice, that's what we do, and that's what we live for. That's why it's nice to see this perspective of the Tai Chi, and going back to the healthy side and the studies, right? We have different ways of adapting things and going through different routes. And when I've seen, like, for example, this study about Harvard that helps people, that has scientifically proved studies that the consequences are way better than the people who are sometimes they just give up and just like don't do anything. Oh my God, like I have this thing, I'm gonna die anyways, and just give up. And there's people that continue fighting. Sometimes the outcome is not what we expected, but the way that you find yourself living better, even though the outcome comes in what we don't expect it, is a transformation. Is the transformation not is maybe not a physical transformation, because unfortunately things happen, but is a spiritual transformation that teaches you a lesson, not only for yourself but also for the people around you.
Sure. Yeah, this subject of the martial arts is one of my favorite areas of discussion, because everything we do in our daily lives is some kind of battle. Everything
Mm.
we do is some kind of, we need a sort of balance. When you are addressing to someone who is maybe weaker than you, or in a different position than you, or stronger than you always have to play some sort of strategy to keep on flowing, to keep on going. And sometimes you don't feel well, and you, even though you need to go to work, you need to talk and maybe discuss with your lover, with your family, with your boss, with your friend. So everything in life is about how you deal with things, and how you behave, and how you are always learning something different. As you were saying, the Kung Fu Panda, I think this is a really good piece of art. I love the character of the panda, because he's really authentic, like relaxed, and he has his dreams of pursuing, of practicing kung fu, because he has his idols, which are the ones, the tiger, the
The
manta,
five
and
heroes,
so on.
yes.
So it is a free spirit. The panda is like a really good Taoist character. It's like a children, who is not afraid of who he is. So he is authentic. His spirit is very very high, because he has heart. When he goes there to learn things, he doesn't know anything. He's sloppy. He sucks. He's not good at all, but he's there with all of his, learning from everyone, being humble, and improving himself along the journey. So I think this is the treasure part of the martial arts. How we can grow spiritually, how we can
Mhm.
improve ourselves. Because practically, if you analyze it, how many people do you fight physically in your daily life? So if you're a fighter, professional fighter, a boxer or an MMA fighter or an Olympic fighter, okay, so you need to train your technique because it's your profession and you need to perform it. Or if you are maybe a police officer or whatever. But if you are a regular person, you do not fight people. You have to learn how to deal with people. You have to learn how to sometimes even give in, to yield, to acknowledge that you don't know something, to acknowledge that you were wrong. So if you only come up with this fighter spirit, like I need to win everyone and I know everything and I'm really strong, so you will never learn the other side. So you will never will be stagnant. So every time you learn how to give in something, you will learn something else. Every time you admit you are wrong, you learn a different perspective. So this is the spiritual area of the martial arts I'm really fond of, including by my professional approach, which is part of psychology, Chinese medicine, Tai Chi teacher. So I really believe this aspect of martial art is a treasure for humankind.
Sifu, I want to thank you so much for your time and for your dedication for dedicating to this episode. I just want to leave a few minutes for you to promote your school, your maybe if you have workshops, maybe if you have books or seminars coming through this year of 2025 or along with this month. Just feel free to express yourself.
Okay. So first of all, thank you, Sifu Ronald, for inviting me, and we are here together having this beautiful conversation. I believe your public will really connect to the things we are saying. And thank you for this opportunity to share my impressions, a little bit of my experience. And I'm really glad to be here. Thank you all who are watching, listening. It's a pleasure, as I said, to share a little bit of my knowledge with you, my impressions, my experience. And as Sifu Ronald said, I teach here in Rio, in Copacabana, which is also
Wow.
a very known neighborhood. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Instagram, Davi Garritano. You can also find me in my website, which is taichibydavi.com. Really easy. And on April 3rd, 30, I'm starting a 5 days immersion here in Rio from April 30 to May 4th. We'll be having this immersion of Tai Chi practice here in Rio. So you can find more information on my Instagram bio. And you can also contact me in my website, and I will be really glad having you joining us. And thank you once more for having this opportunity to promote myself, to share my impression. I really appreciate it.
Sifu, I want to thank you so much for your time. Again, thank you for sharing so much knowledge. This was more than a session. This was more than a podcast. This was definitely a seminar. We spoke a lot about the Tai Chi, the inner system. We got deep into the explanation about, what a Tai Chi is about. And I think that's what people have to listen, people have to understand, not just through movements, but, specialists like you who understand the art will be digging for and then learning and then expressing and studying and then showing off real Tai Chi and real Kung Fu out there. And if you're listening to our podcast, thank you so much, guys. You guys gonna find the links in the description if you guys want to get in touch with Sifu Davi. Make sure to contact him. He also have some online sessions out as well. Make sure that if you're international, if you're in the United States or in Europe or all over the world, make sure you contact him. He's a great guy. I'm sure he's gonna be the best for you to learn. Having some experience. So that one more time, Sifu, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. And see you guys next time. Bye bye.